Meine Damen und Herren,
Ladies and gentlemen, there it is, the new Multivan, our new transporter. This is what it looks like, a very emotional moment for all of us here, I believe. Together again, finally we can meet again. I think there's probably no better way to put it. And for a long time we were longing to meet again, and now finally we can meet. Last, the two of us, we already had the opportunity to drive the new Multivan. We went all across Europe and we invited people to join us and took them here to Munich, to the motor world. This was a great experience. How did you come up with this wonderful idea?
Well, first of all, you know, I really got really very, very nervous. I would like to welcome all guests, those out there in front of the screens and all those who've been working on the T7. Really a top job. And thank you, Anna, that you are guiding us through this evening. You know, we took you along on a journey to a new world, and now you are going to explain things. People move, why are we calling them like this? And this is, you know, the story behind the setting. All the people you've seen, these are our customers, you know, and you know, this means they are really excited about this. We are talking about young people, families, older people, you know, all having their diverse activities, and this is why we have this setting. And you know, surely this car, not only for you, I'm sure many heard about it, it's perfect, it's the right thing.
It's perfect, and it's different, I think we have to say it. It's still the transporter, Bulli as we call it, and it's got the transporter DNA. But in terms of its looks, it's actually different. It's flatter, more dynamic, more aerodynamic. So you're really quite progressive here.
Yes, we did, but to make it clear right from the start, it is still a multivan. It is the multivan of the future. But nevertheless, you know, talking about the aspects you just mentioned, clearly we will always look at its history, you know, the functionality, everything behind this. This has been our role model for many years when developing a multivan, and it's been the role model now. And this is what we put into the future design. It's a very hard job, I admit. You know, we have been working together, product development, every detail has been looked at, and this is substantial for our designers when it comes to the implementation of such a design. And the customer clinics, which we mentioned already, which we've done for this car already, we got excellent feedback. It's perceived very, very well in technical terms. It's on a level playing field with, you know, premium car products, you know, the fans, family, leisure time, the business customers, everything, everyone will be catered to. So this is really a quantum leap. I can say that we are really moving into the new world. Welcome to the new world. The Bulli or Multivan DNA, you mentioned this already. It's our icon, it's our DNA. We implemented everything, we improved everything in our opinion, and we've got this special roof window. This is from the T1, you might remember. Now it is our panoramic sunroof or panoramic roof. It's now a really huge T2. We had a multifunction element. We have taken this on, optimized it, and this is something which we're going to elaborate on later. So passionate teamwork, technical development, product marketing, design. I just mentioned the three departments, and this is the reason why I'm very happy that Albert Kirzinger, head of design in our company, and welcome him on the stage. Albert, come here and join us and explain what you did.
Schön, dass du da bist, Albert.
Great to have you here, Albert. Welcome.
Von den Zuschauern hinter den Bildschirmen und auch
for
von
the
den
audience at the
hier.
screens and those here in
Albert, ihr
Munich.
beide habt ja den T5
Well,
schon zusammen
welcome to you.
verantwortet
Albert, the
oder
two
daran
of you were
zusammengearbeitet.
responsible
Du
for the
warst sogar auch der Mann für
T5,
den
and in
T6
fact
und
you were
bist
also
jetzt der
involved in the
Mann für den
T6, and
T7.
now you worked on the
Tatsächlich alles
T7.
verantwortet.
You were responsible for
Wir
all
haben
of
jetzt ein
this,
paar Mal schon
indeed.
gesagt, die DNA
And we said a couple of
ist auch noch in
times,
diesem
the
Bulli, obwohl es
DNA
vielleicht
is
vom
still
Äußeren
to be
erstmal
seen
gar
in
nicht
this
so richtig
Multivan, the
sichtbar
transporter
ist.
DNA, even if you
Gab's
might
da
not see it from the
Zweifel von
outside. Were there any doubts?
Auf keinen Fall.
No, I don't say. I wouldn't think there was any doubt. This fascinating vehicle concept is iconic. It's the longest consistent automotive history anywhere. And this iconic status is not something it just happened out of nowhere. No, this is something that the Multivan really systematically, well, merited for itself. I mean, people in the different life situations find this to be a great car. I mean, it's a people mover, one that really can take up huge amounts of loads in every situation. He can support people, the driver, the people that drive the car. And this is the DNA that you find in this vehicle concept.
DNA from 6 generations. I'm looking at a couple of faces, and I can see that some of you really obviously respond to it very well, like it a lot. So, but please explain to me, how can you translate the DNA into looks? If you look at the exterior, explain why we see the typical DNA.
Sure. Now, all our Multivans had this side line, a line along the side. And in the T7, we've declared this to be the so-called multi-van line. And I think this is a good example to really talk you through the entire exterior. Look, here, this line defines and splits the proportions in a very, I'd say, balanced body. In automotive industry, you always say here, this is the top, this is the greenhouse, and here, you can see it's a very spacious greenhouse that stands very much by its own, on its own right, and it's very good. It helps people. It helps people to really, well, say, this is the space in which I live. Here, have a look at the driver. He is really on a throne above the road, above what happens on the road. And I mean, with this spacious glass, he can have this very sophisticated look over the road. And of course, if you now take this line forward, you see it here, being elongated, like in the T4, and really, so to say, stretches all around the greenhouse, then you get this feeling of spaciousness, but also a very dynamic line that continues over here, and then, as you see, continues in the bang center of the front wheel. Now, this is something that has been a given from the T4 right through to the T7, that the A-post optically is supported by the front wheel. And you can even find this triangular window here from the T1, from the first generation. So we really have this forward design to make that space inside the cabin even bigger, and to have it give it this monolithic look of a multivan. At the front, of course, the front face, well, what will be a multivan without a real charismatic, sophisticated, self-assured, but still very sympathetic face? And therefore, maybe Ollie, can you just get the camera to show? I mean, here you can have, I call it, it's a smiling face, so sympathetic, but still so sophisticated and so, well, yeah, it's got oomph. Now, I talked about the Multivan line, and I think that, as I said, explains the entire T7. And you can see it here continued in the light strip. It's this broad light strip that really mounts into the LED headlights, into the space of the lights. And out of this 3D area, you can see the Multivan line really stretching along the entire body of the vehicle. But this Multivan line, of course, has another function, namely top aerodynamic ratings. Maybe if the camera could just take a look once more from this side, because then you can see how the body tenses itself, namely at the widest section of the body, at the B post, that's where it's widest. And then you can see this here, this perfect cut-off edge, giving you the best-in-class CD rating. And of course, the Multivan is actually flatter, and that's what we call the squaring of the circle. We've made it flatter, but still have more space on the inside. Lars will come back to that later. But that means we're absolute benchmark in the CD rating. And then you can see the Multivan line continues here, and every detail that is so characteristic for the T. The sliding door of the T2 here is to be found once again here, very elegantly how it's been worked. The workmanship is superb, and you can see how this line really is so illuminated almost by the ambient light, and gives you this very dynamic and premium-like look and feel.
Sieht das aus vom Fahrprogramm her? Gibt es da
What
verschiedene
about the
Ausstattungsvarianten?
range? Do you have different equipment versions or lines?
Well, yes, we've got different option lines. Once again, it starts with the Multivan line. For example, we've got this charismatic twin color, bi-color program. Here, over there, by the way, you can see it in complete mono black here. But of course, we have the full color range available, and we can play with our DNA, that's true. It's the only car that can do so, actually. And of course, we also have developed a completely new rim program. We've got here light alloy forged wheels, rims here, aerodynamically designed, but you can see going all the way up to 19-inch wheels and are real lightweight wheels here. Very good proportions, very subtle, very stable posture on the road. Perfect. And yes, the track is wider, over 30 millimeters wider track, but of course we still want to bring that car into tight parking situations, and so we've optimized the exterior mirrors so when you hit a very tight spot, it actually is 8 centimeters slender than its predecessor, again squaring the circle.
Okay, so we talked a lot about the exterior. And I think this is a quantum leap between the previous Multivan and the new one. But of course, we would also like to know more about the inner values. What happened to the interior? How creative were you with the interior?
Well, look, inside the cabin, that's where it really was completely revamped. I mean, the Multivan line wouldn't be one if you wouldn't find it also evident on the inside. And maybe the camera could just dim the light, because I'd like to show you something now. I'd like to show you something very special here in the cabin. Have a look how the Multivan line continues inside. You can see it from this ambient lighting. This is a top-notch premium car feel, and that exactly an exterior element continued carried forward in the interior on the same height, on the same level, and this is also where you have this bi-color split defining the entire interior cabin. Okay, if we just increase the light again. Very good. So this is, I'd say, this is a living room on wheels. A very flat floor, as you can see, all the way through from the third to the first row seats. I know of no other car. I mean, you've got this living room atmosphere and top-notch flexibility. Maybe if I just set my foot inside, climb inside my new living room and take a seat, like with the T4 Multivan, where we started these comfort single seats. Of course, you have single seats in the T7, but now here with this new width, you see, it is so cozy, it's so comfortable. It's the feel like, well, I mean, it's a superior car. Comfortable, spacious, easy to move around, very flexible. Here with a panoramic roof, absolute benchmark in its class. Massive, long, wide, giving you this spaciousness, space galore. And of course, during the day, I mean, you don't only have the ambient light, no, you also have the materials and the colors that really nicely structure the cabin. You can see it goes all the way across the seats, over the rims and trim lines here. And then we just lifted and made the upper area of the cabin very light and very, well, spacious. It's a very subtle means in which people will feel very comfortable inside the car. And, well, if I continue, as I said, flat floor. Flat floor is, I mean, that's a typical Multivan DNA that started with the T3, and that you can also move around, you can walk around, you can step through right into the first row of seats. Now, we've taken away the parking brake, all the switches here. You can see the entire area is now clear and free, so it's so easy and so comfortable to move forward right into that first row of seats. And now, again, you see the Multivan line, and here, by the way, also this bi-color separation and the separation of different materials. Lovely, wonderful. And that is real, typical details, nifty details. Love for these details that make the T7 so special. And here, have a look at this. That's another innovation. I mean, I can grip this door with one hand. I can also open it, as you see. And if I come from the back, I mean, you can hold it with just one hand. Every other car needs you to hold that door with two hands. It's a lovely combined detail. But as you see, also elegantly continues in the lining of the door. Sophisticated materials, the dashboard, as you can see here, separated by this aluminum strip here that stretches from left to right, giving it this enormous feeling of width here. Very sophisticated, wonderful decors. Sound system, by the way, here of Harman Kardon, and this spacious, ample roominess. And it's not just ample and very voluminous. It is offering you substantially more space than the current T6.
Albert, Albert, thank you. I think you really explained the interior very well. I can feel exactly what it must be like to ride in it, and I really would like to get into it myself. But please join us outside, because today we are not just celebrating the world premiere of the new Multivan, but something else as well. Albert, I don't know whether you have a guess, but you were not able to prepare for it, because actually today, and only today, can we announce that the T7, and with this also you, that you got the renowned Red Dot Design Award. You received it in the highest category, the best of the best, Red Dot winner. This is your award.
Oh, wow.
Wow, I think we're super proud of this. What can I say? What can I say? I mean, this prize, this award is one that the entire design team, together with the technical R&D team, really, well, we're worth it. The T7 team worked flat out on this. I'll take it home, and we're gonna celebrate this.
Hold on to it. You know what it's like when they have the award ceremonies in Hollywood. You might forget it somewhere. It might be left somewhere.
Auf jeden Fall, absolut verdient. Lars,
they certainly deserve it. Well, with Albert, when I spoke to him, I was looking at the same height as him. With us, it's a bit more difficult. I have to look up to you. I think you're about 6.5 feet, so a bit taller than I am. I have to, well, look up to you. So in terms of requirement for space, you need a little bit more space because you're so tall. The T7, does it meet these requirements?
Well, definitely, and I want to add, you know, we've been really fighting for each and every detail, and the two of us are also, you know, struggling, but nevertheless, we always bring together the two perspectives. Nevertheless, I'd like to show you what it looks like. Okay, we've got this entry here. I get in. Very easy for me to get in, actually, and I must say that it's never been that easy. In order to have a comfortable position, I really have to move the seat forward, and all this has been implemented, you know, properly, very well, I must say. My legroom, you know, the feeling, the sense I haven't got any problems with my knees. They are not hitting any dashboard, so things, you know, really good. Really a pure sense of spacious or space here. My headroom, you know, it's not like the sky hitting my head. No, it's not like this. Everything done very well. And on top of that, this has to do with the MQB platform, we can also use shift by wire. And you know, here the gear shift knob was removed, the electronic parking brake is being used, and you can see it in the cockpit, and you know, it's handled or managed using the various switches here on the cockpit. And we also can shift gears using the paddles on this multifunctional steering wheel. So this is really top quality, really on a premium level, I should say. And you know, the dashboard, we designed it in such a way that there aren't any reflections. Surely I can always see what's going on the road using our NATSAV. You know, we've got a digital cockpit in each and every car, and I must say that this is something which is complemented by the respective, you know, navigation systems or sat-navs, everything that you would like to have in the car. We are really enthusiastic, over the moon about this car.
So the driver certainly enjoys driving this car. We are convinced. But what about the people, the passengers in the rear area?
Well, in the rear, I can say that we've integrated 2 sliding doors, each model. I must have the key with me because the vehicle always wants to detect me or wants to identify, wants to know where I am, so to speak. This car is always on, always connected. And this means this is something which we can use for communication, you know, charge, mobile services, etc., etc. Everything has been integrated, is standard in this vehicle, actually. And there's something else we're really proud of. This function, you know, without touching the car, I can open the sliding doors. So these are the electric sliding doors which we've introduced, and surely, you know, putting in luggage or, you know, kids, you know, scrambling into the car, it means, you know, I can get into the car, put the luggage into the car without any problems, you know, and also looking at the tailgate, same function, so it is also possible to open it in the same way, and you can move it. It's very cool, I should say.
How about the seat? seats. The seats also look different, right?
Well, yes, I think we really have done a great job here. We've got this flat level floor, and this means you can move things around. And also the multifunction table, you know, you can move it from the rear to the front, almost to the center console, which is no longer there. And also the seats can be moved, in particular the middle seats. They can even move towards the front so that they sit, the one in the middle sits between the driver and the passenger on the other seat. So I can say everything they would like to have. This is something 25% lighter, by the way, and it will be much easier to take out things and put them back in, and there is no bulky bench anymore.
I was going to say, because this bench seat in the third row is what we know from the Transporter. We don't have it anymore. Now, the advantage is it's easier to rearrange the seats.
Well, absolutely, and you can see it here on the screen. You will have much more flexibility, multi-van, multi-flexibility, and I think we do justice to its name. You know, 223, 211, this is what we call it, you know. It's not a special code, it's just the different configurations of seating which we have, taking into account the third row of seats. And again, you know, we square the circle, you might say. So this is an absolutely new way of using this car, you know. We always took into account the requirements and demands of our customers. And there's one thing which is really close to my heart, for me personally, because I'm kind of affected by this. You know, sportsmen have got lots of valuable equipment. They drag along mountain bikes, for instance, but you want to take all this with you. And some friends of yours also on the bench. So far, it has been very difficult to do all this, but with a new multivan, we can do it.
It was either or in the past. Now both is possible. Tesla is back. We saw her before in the show, and she brought her bike as well. And last, now I'd like to see how you do that. How do you fit this bike into the multivan? And we can sit in it nevertheless.
All right, I would like to show you. Okay, so...
Achtung, nicht den Kopf stoßen.
Nein, noch nicht. Aber jetzt zack, einfach nur rein.
All right, just put it in, push it through, like this.
Selbstverständlich kann man das
And
auch.
surely, oh, you can even put in a second one.
Das gehört, wenn man dann fährt. Das machen wir jetzt nicht.
And of course you can you know, fix it in place, but nevertheless you can still drive around. You can set off right away.
Das so begeistert hat.
I know, we were really thrilled about it, and you know, we are now in a position to change the configuration so quickly, and we thought, how quickly can you put in and take out these seats? And we really triggered and initiated a team challenge, and I believe we should switch over to Marco. Marco, can you show us? Are you ready? Yes, our team is ready.
In 11,49 Sekunden.
11.49 seconds.
11.94 seconds, like at a pit stop, you know, take that out.
Couldn't have done it better.
No, that's absolutely great. I'm thrilled by this, you see. This is a big benefit for the customers. Within seconds, you know, we've got 400 liters of cargo space, and this can be increased within seconds to 4,000 liters. And I believe that this is a custom benefit, a kind of benchmark in this segment, definitely, and surely an advantage for our models.
Well, I think we can say it's not only fast on the road, but fast to rearrange the seats, and it's a huge space miracle, although it's flatter now.
Well, yes. How did we do that? So again, we rethought the dimensions, the proportions. How can we manage, how can we implement this? It should be lower by 7 centimeters, now 190 overall height of the vehicle. And, you know, we've got many air conditioning channels. They've been put into the car. They are no longer in a transverse direction, but down the longitudinal direction. Also, the head airbags also integrated. So now we have this wonderful panoramic roof, and this means in the interior we've got a height of 131 centimeters plus 4. You know, if I order the panoramic roof, then I can have 4 centimeters more even. And of course, the vehicle will benefit from the aerodynamics, and we are very proud of this. The drag coefficient, we wanted to have one below 0.84, so we really set a benchmark in this segment.
Und dann haben wir natürlich auch noch das
And, here we've got the completely new functionalities. We now have got live rails. This means we can also have heating in the outer seats. In the back, we can now shift and move the seats around. This gives you a different sense of spaciousness, of space in this car. You sit in this car and you feel like being in a Learjet. And the children can do their homework in the back. On the one hand, and on the other side, can just lie down and then have a nap or things like this. So I believe nobody will be impaired or restrained in his or her activities, certainly, and everything done very quickly.
Luxury, like a Learjet, sounds great and comfortable, convenient, but a Learjet, I couldn't afford a Learjet. So the question is it affordable, the Transporter? Still affordable?
Well, definitely, I can say it must be like this. It must be an affordable car. Definitely, this is very, very important for us. And, we start with the energetic, like we've got, here's one. And, first of all, it will be offered like an e-hybrid, plug-in hybrid. This is how it will be sold. And surely we will have many equipment details which we mentioned, the matrix lights or the bi-color and multifunction table. All these are items which will be found in this. And this will be in the car when it will be launched in the marketplace. So we can offer a price. So this means we've got more standard equipment at the same price. And we also want to see what is new. The new Multivan, and with the trend line, the comfort line, will be called Multivan Life. And the Highline will be called Multivan Style in the future.
Right, so much about equipment lines. By the way, we have great sound technicians on site, but they are not responsible for this sound because there's a thunderstorm here in Munich. Quite a while since I was outside this morning, the sun was shining, but now it looks like there's a storm outside. Yes, it's the, electric welcome we are getting here. But we are not only interested in appearances and design, but also inner values. That's also very important for our audience. What's new here?
Well, the MQB has given us plenty of possibilities. Being a platform, we've got the latest driver assist systems. They have been implemented in this car. We've got safety aspects. Safety, a very, very important feature for us. We've got 29 driver assist systems in this car, and surely we're looking at safety systems. We've done a lot. We've got emergencies, we've got area view, and others. Just thinking now these 2 or 3, because there are so many actually. You just have to look at them. You have to get explanations how things work. And driving around downtown or inner cities, this is something which is very important. You want to be comfortable in this. You've got park assist, trailer assist, all the other assist systems, all in the vehicle now. And I should say that this, this is something which you want to find in the car. And of course, connectivity, very important.
Lots of innovations.
Well, absolutely. We are really in a very good position in this respect. We can say that we've got best-in-class requirements, which we, meet, and as sales and marketing, yes, this is something which we want to set the respective standards, the respective, levels. We are in a very good position, actually, right now, and I believe everyone wants to know engines, the range of engines. And when looking at the engines, I can say that we now have started the transformation into e-mobility, CO2 optimizations, very important these days, surely. And therefore, we've got the e-hybrid. It is a plug-in hybrid with a petrol engine, 2 petrol engines with 2 different performance classes, plus 2 diesel engines. One class and another class will be introduced later. And surely we were able to reduce consumption with these models, having the same standard. It was reduced by 1 liter, so this means about 25 CO2. I believe this is really very, very good. And, you know, this means you can really get out a lot of this car. So I should say 50 kilometers. Well, this is the range you can drive in purely electrically. And I believe it's really of interest and appealing to our customers. It's a good bridge to e-mobility. And e-mobility, you know, this is something which we're going to launch next year on the occasion of the world premiere of the ID and the iBuzz next year.
Right, lots of innovations and new features. We are almost finished here, so let's focus on the highlights, just briefly. But I'd also like to know what your plans are, further plans with Generation 7. What else do you have in store?
Well, first of all, this is the 7th generation multivan, and this means the 4 meters 97. This means it will be shorter than 5 meters, but there will be a longer one and a shorter one, actually. The wheelbase will not be changed. You know, the difference will be 20 centimeters. We can offer 20 centimeters more space, so the customers can go for more space. Do I want to go through the city often? So the customers can make a choice, you know, they can opt for this or that one. And surely there will be more derivatives in the future as well. And, you know, the palette which Albert showed us, this is not all which we have up our sleeves, you might say. No, there will also be another edition, very well perceived by our customers so far. It is sporty, you know, it's got very precious, valuable, elegant lines, wonderfully implemented with the new possibilities of the T7, black-white appearance, you know, and this is how we're going to start with. And there's something else. We can also think of other things, you know, when it comes to off-road or all-wheel competence which we have. We would like to come up with something like this, you know. The sky is the limit for all our ideas which we have. And the multi-van, it is doing justice to its name. And at the end, I would like to sum up our absolute highlights. This means, with the new multi-van, we've got a lighter vehicle, it's got a wider stance on the road, despite, you know, the mirrors, it's very well suited to driving in the city in aerodynamic terms, you know, it is lower slung, but nevertheless it's got very good interior, so I can say that the multivan has got a fantastic future ahead of us, and lots of story they want to tell.
And this story started here and today. Lars, thank you for your great explanations. I hope that you will also be part of this story of the multivan. And it's the story of a major team accomplishment by you, Albert, Carsten, who are going to join us on the stage once again, and lots of other people as well who contributed to it. Of course, it would have been nice if you could have invited all of you here to this event, and not only those who are in person here in the studio. We would have invited you who are sitting at home in front of your screens, but I do hope that we can visit you at home very soon so that you can help us write this story.